And there are 6 head coaching openings in the NFL today as well. Teams continuing to go through interviews. Jets, Bears, Saints fired their coaches during the year. Pats, Jags, Raiders all moved on in the last week. And that brings us back to Schefter in the Domino's pregame headquarters for more on these openings. Schefter, where do we stand with all these jobs?
Well, we'll start with New England, Greeny, and the Patriots interviewed Mike Vrabel on Thursday, Ben Johnson on Friday. Most people around the league believe that Vrabel remains the favorite for the Patriots job, but they're going to be working on this weekend, charting their next steps, figuring out what they could do. Vrabel obviously has a close relationship with the franchise. We'll see if anything there can materialize. Meanwhile, the former Seahawks coach Pete Carroll interviewed Thursday with the Chicago Bears and is expected to interview this week with the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm told he's going to be a candidate in Las Vegas, somebody to keep your eye on. Obviously, Chicago has interest. Pete Carroll would like to get back into coaching after being out of the game last year. We'll see if he finds a way to land a job. Meanwhile, Aaron Glenn been very busy. Thursday night with your Jets, yesterday with the Saints and Raiders, and he's spending today meeting with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Chicago Bears in virtual head coach interviews. That means the only one he has an interview with is the Patriots. It certainly looks like Aaron Glenn is going to come out of this cycle with a head coaching job. Meanwhile, Mike McCarthy's contract with the Dallas Cowboys expires on January 14th. And while there have been substantial conversations between Mike McCarthy and Cowboys owner Jerry Jones regarding football issues and questions, there haven't been any substantial discussions between Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones regarding a future contract. And as long as that's the case, you have to wonder now, what is Jerry Jones waiting for? Clearly no deal has been done by now. Jerry must have an idea in his mind, another plan as well, about what he would do if and when Tuesday comes and Mike McCarthy is allowed to talk to other teams like the Chicago Bears that already have been requested permission to interview him and denied from the Dallas Cowboys. But the longer this goes on and the less conversation there is about a deal materializing for McCarthy, the more you have to wonder if the two sides are even going to get one done. I think that's in question right now at best, and I think we will get clarity early this week. But again, no business conversations so far. Jerry likes to wait late in the game. We saw that with Dak Prescott this year. We saw it with CeeDee Lamb. But right now, it seems like Jerry must have some other ideas as well.
It all feels so performative. Keep Schefter close by because we'll probably have more questions for him. Let's start with that. We had a lot of this on Get Up this week. The Cowboys blocking Mike McCarthy's ability to talk to the Bears, despite the fact that they don't have a deal with him. The exclusive window closes on the 14th. Do you have an issue with it?
He signed a contract. I don't have an issue with it, actually. I mean, this is business. I mean, if Jerry's got someone that he wants that's on the hold here and seeing if he's going to be available, and then Mike McCarthy's here, also a good head coach as an owner, why shouldn't I? You signed a contract. It's not over to the 14th. I'm going to hold on to all my assets until I have an answer. I have no problem with it at all.
Yeah, I agree with you in this situation. And the way it's set up, it's not that he is precluding McCarthy of interviewing with the Bears moving forward if he does move on from them. He's not taking away that opportunity. Because the way the new thing is set up, it's going to be a couple of weeks before any of these head coaches are fired or hired, actually. So we'll see what happens. But I will say this. You saw where Schefter mentioned Aaron Glenn. It's about time this young man gets a head coaching job. He is absolutely outstanding.
Listen, if Mike McCarthy isn't going to be back with the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, this is petty, right? I mean, we're 3 days to the 14th. Let this guy go interview for another job. You've had 5 years to evaluate him, right? And if he doesn't come back, I think this is ridiculous. This isn't how you do business. With that being said, right, Schefter mentioned it. Jerry loves to take these things down to the wire. I think Mike comes back. I think that it was telling that they didn't let him go interview for this. I think he's back as the Cowboys coach.
I want to get to one other quick thing here, because if Mike McCarthy goes back as Cowboys coach, that's the end of that discussion. But the idea that he might have an idea of someone else, who might that someone else be? The subject came up. Schefter reported it last week here, that there was an expectation, and Schefter, I believe I still have, that Steve Sarkisian's name might come up in some head coaching conversations. Steve Sarkisian's season ended last night in heartbreaking fashion, I might add, against Ohio State. Schefter, you and I were together on Thursday. When I put those dots together, to be clear, don't put it on the bottom line. Schefter did not. Don't anybody aggregate that Schefter is putting those two together, but I'm certainly willing to do so. What is it we think Jerry might have up his sleeve between now and Tuesday?
Well, look, it would be naive to think that Jerry Jones hasn't pondered what life without Mike McCarthy would look like. And clearly, he is not put in for any of these coaches that we're talking about. He hasn't put in for Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn or Brian Flores or any of the coaches that are going through the virtual head coach interview cycle. So clearly, Jerry must have some sort of idea. And I don't know who that is right now. We're going to find out if no deal materializes with Mike McCarthy. But clearly there has to be a candidate or two in his mind that he feels reasonably comfortable that he will not have a difficult time in hiring if he decides to not move forward here with Mike McCarthy.
What do you think?
No, I mean, I'm sure he does. No, I'm sure he has somebody in mind and things, but you're right. I mean, does McCarthy come back or whatever? I think if he does, I think there's got to be a lot of changes anyway on that staff, so we'll see what happens.
There's a lot on my mind that Schefter had just informed us of, and I got to say something about my former team, the New England Patriots, who have been absolutely a mess the last couple years and how they've handled things. The only way to fix this is to hire Mike Vrabel. I'm telling you right now, a coach that could come in there and doesn't just lead men, but knows how to lead football players, knows how to reach football players, and can deal with that ownership, fix the organization, Robert and Jonathan Kraft, and hire Mike Vrabel.
Okay, over the next week or two, a lot of these pieces will fall into place.